ゲームプレイ。違う。はい、皆様こんばんは。というわけで、宮下英治の、チャンネルによるヴァンパイア実況第5回目始めていきたいと思います。今日は、再インストールし直したので、絶対にアプリケーションエラーがじゃあ起きねえんだなっていう話で進めていきたいと思います。アイリさんこんばんは。ミンタリスさんこんばんは。何するんだっけな。このクエストだけだな、残ってんの。これちょっと気になるから追跡しちゃおう。オズワルド・サッチャー、頭痛薬、競争剤。これにゃんさんこんばんは。競争剤、頭痛薬、これか。いやーもうさすがに起きないでしょう。だってインストールし直したもん。これで OK なはず。でさあ、33メートル。疲労してるね。ちょっとほっとこう。宇野原さんこんばんは。高橋美沙さんこんばんは。あれなんか光ってんな。市役所の手紙。葵さんこんばんは。いえいえ、ありがとうございます。違う、こっちじゃない。こっち側。ですね。見張ってるのが誰か。ここにいるんだよね。ちょうど後ろ側。ここか。あれか？上に光ってるマークがあるんだが、こいつらを処せばよいのかな？合ってるかな？合ってそうだね。皆さんこんばんは。ありがとうございます。いきなりだな。いるね。静かに近寄りましょう。えい！ドン。よし。これで普通のハンドル部品。調査指令。ガード・オブ・プリベン指令所よりイーストエンドケーラ隊へ。ヴァンパイア活動や病院の調査について3日前、新人の一人がベンブローク病院に女のヴァンパイアが隠れているという噂を耳にした。分かっているのは女の名前がテルマだということだけだ。君の使命は慎重に現場に向かい、そのヒル関する疑わしい活動について観察し、そのヒル関する我々に調査報告することだ。その報告に基づいて必要な行動を決定すると。これで、ヒントが得られたので、ちなみにね、朗読劇、全通で来る数だった方がキャンセル入っちゃってね、一席ぐらい各公演空いちゃったんだよね。あ、ゆくさんこんばんは。もしね、いらっしゃれる方いたらぜひ、わざわざなんかツイッターに書くほどのことでもないかなと思い、出て書いてないんだけど、大きくはね。決して当日券が出るというわけではないので、あれなんだ？ なるほど。これを処せばいいのな。今ちなみにやってるのは、サブクエスト的な、あれですね。あれとかこれとかわけわからんよな。いいんです。適当です。朗読家いらっしゃれる方は、お楽しみに。ここは何だろう。入ったっけここ。ここ入ったことないかも。千秋さんこんばんは。そうそう、サブクエ的な感じ。あれあれってなんだ。ありがとうございます。別にね、インスタそこまでなんか、あれなんだよ。そんな宣伝する気はなかったんだけど、とりあえずなんかほら、せっかくやったから、乗っけとこうと思ってね。で、ツイッターに出すのは恥ずかしいしね。スカールを倒してショック状態の男性を使う。助ける。開けらんない。スカールを倒さなきゃいけないのか。どっから入るんだ。内側から鍵がかかってる。なんか新しいミッションがね、発生しちゃったね。そうそうそうそう。あ、なるほど。上から降りろということか。男性を救出せよと。私に勝てると思ってるのか。もう棍棒が無敵だね。で、三眼書。どこだ。そう、この程度のレベルならば私は勝てる。もう大丈夫だ。安心したまえ。
What happened? Who are you?
It's all right, sir. You're safe now.
Oh, a fellow Englishman. Thank you, sir. For a moment I thought those bloody heathens had killed me.
What are you doing here? This place is not safe.
Yeah, it's a cesspool, but it's mine. I came to collect some overdue rent, but those who still live here have gone completely bonkers.
You're very lucky to be alive.
Yeah, filthy immigrants. Fucking savages, every one of them. And now with this bloody fever, they're just animals.
You can find safety of sorts in Whitechapel. If you're quick and cautious, you'll be able to avoid...
そういえばね、久しぶりに代読が届きました。ありがとうございます。診察してみようか。ダメか。これでここのクエストはクリアか。
You had better return to Whitechapel.
Safety isn't really...
で、アイテム回収して、次のところに、違う、間違えた。
Safety isn't...
このアイテムを取ってないと思われる。よし。これでここは、まだ取ってない、取ってない。よいしょ。OK。チース太郎かい。よし、これで OK。じゃあ表に出ましょう。いやー、強いな、コンボ。でも今日はね、コーヒー飲んでんの。なんかもったいなくてさ、飲めなくて。はぁ。 実はね、1年半ぐらいね、ちょっと腰が痛くて、自転車乗ってなかったんだけど、明日久しぶりにね、チャリ移動をしてみようかと。稽古だからね。不安。お、葵さんナイスパーありがとうございます。お、初スパいただいた。ありがとう。地味にね、こうやって静かに進めていくゲームになっちゃうんだけど、そういえばまたあれだよね、仁王とか、もう PS5 で出るんだっけ確か。あれなんかクエストが外れてる？あ、外れてんね。いや、これじゃない。ホワイトチャペルのクエスト。これだ。正直不安だよね。うち乗ってんのがピストだからさ。あれ開けらんない？ねえ、1、俺2やって、1もやったよね、確か。そんな記憶があるんだが。一応どっちもクリアはしたはずなんだけど、なんか、そんな変わってんのかな、あれグラフィックね。気になるよね。いや、ものによります。うちのピストは逆回転ができないペダルなんで、ピストっていうのはね、競輪とかと一緒のやつなんで、足に負担がかかるんですよね、すごく。葵さんありがとうございました。またね。そうそう。だからね、まあ足の筋トレのためと思って乗ってたんだけど、自転車とは別の要因で腰に来ちゃってたから、ね、気になるよね。これでもやっぱ PS5 今ブックオフの抽選に申し込んだんだけど、正直当たる気が全くしないね、あれね。ここか。上の階行くともうすでに敵がいそうな気がするんで、アイテムだけパクっていこう。このね、ゲームのね、アイテム取れる場所の光沢感が若干出るんだけど、それが微妙すぎてね。いやー、やるんだったら PS5 でやりたいな。でもその前にね、バイオビレッジがね、また出ちゃうからな。まあ、悩ましい。もうバイオビレッジは絶対やりたい。だからそれまでにね、PS5 当たってくんないと困るんだよね。よし、これで、ペンブロークについての報告書。ヴァンパイアの活動が確認できました。まず最初に病院内にメスのヒルがいる確証を得ました。あの獣は狡猾です。彼女は精神病患者を装い不浄な本性を隠しています。個人的に病院に忍び込み、その生き物が体が腐り落ちないように血が必要だとブツブツ言っているのを聞きました。ですが本当に最悪なのはここからです。ペンブローク病院の理事長はスワンジーですが、我々のチームリーダー、昨日運河におけるスカルとの戦闘で落命したアマンダ・ティルトンによると、彼はセントポール教会のメンバーかもしれないとのことです。これが事実であれば、ペンブロークで何かしら重大なことが起きているのかもしれません。ヴァンパイアの巣であることさえ考えられます。教会のろくでもない裏切り者たちによって守られているのかもしれません。我々にはどうすればいいか判断できませんが、重装備の援軍とともにできるだけ早くお越しいただくのが良いと信じていますと。大変じゃん。攻められちゃうぜ。そう、ビレッジ面白そうなんだよ。まちこさんこんばんは。ねえ。でもね、もう問題だからその、本体が買えないってことだよね。 どうすんのと。で、ここにはどうやって入んのと。こっち側から回っていくしかないんだな。よし、とりあえずダッシュで帰ろう。なんかここら辺にも隠れがありそうな感じはするんだけどな。いや、本当に。なんかソフマップとかだとなんか、あれだよね。会員登録が必要なんだよね、店頭での。めんどくさいからそこはさすがにそれはしないんだけど。で、目的地になんかアイテムが。アイテムは時間経過とともに補充されるみたいね。よし、テルマ。
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Tell me, Thelma, what do you really know about vampires?
I saw one and he saw me. I watched him hunt
ねえ、
and
ほんと
kill.
欲しい。
I saw his terrible wounds heal as his victim died. And then I knew I was saved.
You mean you actually saw a vampire? Here in London?
Yes. And it has been the answer to my pain. I must drink and kill to regenerate my decaying body.
いや、同じくですよ、それは。俺も当たってないんだが。
You have no idea what problems your claim could cause if heard by the wrong people, Miss Howcroft. You must stop this nonsense now.
Why fear the truth? Strange things live in the dark, Dr. Reed. Strange and ancient beings that were here before this island even had a name.
いや、テルマさんそうなんだけどさ。
I have made inquiries about the men who were tracking you, Miss Howcroft.
I did not expect a mortal to have this sort of courage.
いや、どうやったら帰るんだろうね、ほんと。
Doctor, why are they hunting me down?
It was a misunderstanding. These hunters were in fact looking for a very different creature, but they mistakenly put their sights on you.
I knew it. I have become undone. Those hunters have discovered me, but they don't know what I'm capable of.
If you'll accept some advice from a petty mortal, I think you should assume a low profile and just quietly disappear into the shadows.
You are right. And you have served me well, mortal. Take this as a reward for your time. Perhaps I will allow you to drink deep of my blood. One day.
Thank you. I'll keep that proposition in mind.
よし、
I'll leave you, Mistress
こ
of
れ
the
で
Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
テルマのクエストは終わりかな。よし、成功でだ。結構隠れ家がね、いろんなところにあるんだよね。で、これ謎のイベント、不明なイベントが発生しました。この間瞬殺されちゃったんだよね。エドガー・スワンジーにラズバン・バシールの血について話す。ちょっとこれは先にここにいるのでやっておきましょう。スワンジーさん。あれ、スワンジーさんいなくね。あ、いたいたいた。
Evening, Edgar. Could I get your
あ、ソニースターの発表。あ、そう、落ちた。ソニースターの発表。で、二次抽選自動的に申し込まれてた。
This strain of flu, it's very different from the one I saw in
大
Europe.
きく違う。実に独特
It's
だ。
downright peculiar.
Really? What makes you say that?
I've just looked at the blood of one of
最
our
近死亡した
recently
人の血液を
deceased.
分析したんだ。
I see. Do you have anything more to go on?
This disease spreads
この病気は
and
広がり方も
looks
見
like
た目
the
もス
Spanish
ペイン
flu,
風邪
but
に似ている
its
が、
effects
影響は大
differ
きく違う。
greatly. The
ロ
London
ンドンの
strain
系
is
統は
different from the continental one.
大陸のものとは
This is
違う。
very interesting.
こういうとこですよ。この切れ替わりのね、字幕の切れ替わりが
Yes. Unlike the flu, the infected begin to
読み
show
づらさの
an
原因
increase
なん
in
だよね。
outwardly aggressive behavior. More than simple agitation. Once docile people become violent.
You mean like rabies? Is there a chance we could create a vaccine, Jonathan, like Pasteur? By the stove, that would be smashing.
There's a lot we're not seeing here, but it is spreading, and quickly. If we don't act, the whole city could be lost.
But Jonathan, we've a fantastic opportunity sitting right here in front of us. A weapon of choice.
What on earth do you mean?
Why, you, my dear boy. With your expertise and your blood, we could isolate the properties that course through your veins. Think about the possibilities.
I admit it did occur to me. Blood seems to be the common factor in all of
ミッ
this.
キーさんこんばんは。
I totally agree. We're in uncharted territory here. Maybe it's just wishful thinking, but imagine the possibilities.
We'll discuss this more later. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you, Jonathan. But as I said, I needed to talk to you.
ならないんだ。
I have some rather
どちらかという
bad
と
news.
良くない知らせがある。なんだと
Yes.
I'm afraid it's your sister.
My sister.
She's to be buried this evening at Whitechapel Cemetery. Your mother published the obituary this morning.
I see.
松井圭さん
I'm
こんばんは。
sorry, Jonathan. Please accept my condolences.
メアリーの葬儀に参列する。次のミッションだね。今、現状、ここで出てるサブクエ、この町のサブクエは全部一通り終わらせました。港は調査なしで、あとこいつをね、説得しなきゃいけないんだよね。ただヒントが全部ロック中だから、まだできないんだろうな。とりあえず、解析をしましょう。これリサイクルしちゃっていいのかな。なんか適当にリサイクルしていっちゃってんだけど、いいのかな。まあいいか。どうせまた拾えるでしょう。これね、めんどくさいのが一回一回ボタンを押さなきゃいけないってとこだよね。よし。で、武器のアップデートをアップグレード。あ、これどっちかなんだ。取れんの。はははは。足んねえじゃん。
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Eh? これ読んだからって手紙が開くわけじゃないのね。はいはい。キャドガンベイツは我々を搾取してきた。さっきもらったやつなんだっけ。 多分どこぞでビッパー・ホーキンズ新しいヒントを入手。あ、なるほど。手紙を見るだけでも何かしらヒントが得られるわけだな。うわ、これめんどくさいぞ、結構。自分でこう手紙を一個一個調べていかないとこのヒントが出てこないってことだよな。こうやって開かないとヒントが得られないと。ただ入手するだけではヒントにならない。とりあえず開くだけね。さすがに字を全部追えないので。で、今経験値がね、上に入っていってるんだよね。これ手紙を見ると。うわぁ、めんどくさい、これは。いいんです。俺は脳筋だからね、こういうのは適当ですよ。ストーリーはざっくり分かってれば問題なし。
These men,
ほら、
they're a company of professional vampire hunters.
新しいヒントを入手。
I never thought I would have to attend my murdered sister's funeral.
ただドロシーさ、やばいことなってなかったっけ、確か。さくらかのんさん、こんばんは。多分こっち行ってこの人のね、まず回収してあげることが本来大切なんですが、謎のイベントって言われたら行きたくないですか。本来はストーリー進行上まだですよってことなんだろうけど、だってそこで表示出たらね、やりたくなりますよね、普通に考えて。あれ、ここは来たよな、さっき。なので力量差がかなりあるんですけど、あの人に挑みたいと思います。なんかね、毒をね放ってきてたんだよね。ここやね。マーカーの設置。よし、これで行ってみよう。ここも入ったっけな。入ってないところが結構あるかもしんない。2階に行けそうなところをね、探しつつ、スン。キープアウトってなってんだよね。だから隠れ家があったんだけど、なんかもう一箇所ぐらいこっちサイドにさ、隠れ家3箇所あったら上等なのかな、よくわかんないけど、どれぐらいのバランスで隠れ家とやらが配置されているのやら。ちょっとこっち回っていってみるか。ちょっと探索。あ、ここにもあるね、隠れ家ね。おお、なんかで、あ、犬か。なんだ、犬だ。もう私の敵ではないんだよ、レベル12ごときが。いやー、強くなってしまったな。なるほどな。でもちょっと分かってきたぞ、システムとやらが。うん。お、ハグさんこんばんは。ルノハルさんこんばんは。あれ、ルノハルさん言ったよね。ハグさんこんばんは。よいしょ。ごめんね、なんかコメントが追いつかない。 て、とりあえず壊滅的なここを謎のイベントの方向がどこか分かんなくなっちゃう。ここもね、隠れ家がありそうな気がすんだよな。違うのね。赤ミルヒさんこんばんは。こいつは誰だ？
How are you, boy?
I'm not your boy, alright? Now piss off.
アルバート、口が悪いよ。
Have you heard anything about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
Never heard of her.
Do you need assistance?
Please. Feeling
There you go. Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
very funny.
Goodbye, young man.
よし。
Good evening.
I'm afraid not, mister.
この人も話したよね。まだヒントが出てない。
Have you any...
Not recently.
A gun?
OK。さあ、今こっち向いてるから、こっちで合ってるか。よし。なんだ謎のイベントとやらは。
Goodbye.
なんかね、誰と喋ればいいんだ？ダリウス。
Good evening, Mick.
I could ask.
あ、表に出てきたんだね、この人ね。
I heard what happened to Nurse Crane. How do you feel, Mr. Petrescu?
Everything was going well until you arrived. Dorothea helped people and will be sorely missed.
She had it coming, Mr. Petrescu. Extortion, theft, gang dealings, and running a dubious dispensary. What good could come from that?
So you put an end to the operation. Did you put an end to Dorothea as well?
You seem to have a lot on your chest, sir. What's wrong?
I heard you are a famous surgeon. Tell me, what did you do to Dorothea? She was so bright, so clever. Then you made her an empty shell.
I didn't use drugs or medical trickery, Mr. Petrescu. All I did was talk to Nurse Crane. I promise you.
But what happened to her then? After you left, she did not even recognize me. Then she got careless and sick, and I had to flee.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
それだけか。まだヒントが足りないな。
What do you plan to do now that Nurse Crane is gone?
I'm not sure. Strange men came to see me after Dorothea's death, with strange weapons and very odd stories.
What kind of stories?
Stories all Romanian children know. It was as if I was home again.
ハンターが来たって
Vampires,
ことか。
Mr. Doctor. Vampires.
You believe them? Aren't you too old to hold a weapon or listen to scary stories?
Yes, I am old and alone and will die soon, but if these stories are true, maybe I have found myself another cause.
Are you living on the streets, Mr. Petrescu?
And why not? Those who believe they'll be safe behind walls are blind.
What about your house?
My house is always open to any poor soul needing a roof. All my work here is lost now that Dorothea is gone, thanks to you.
Why are you so...
ドロセアっていうのはドロシーのことでしょ？
You
確
came
か。
here and convinced me to open my door to you, sir. I'd like to punch you right on your chops.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia.
I do not believe.
あれこれもう聞いたね。こ
Goodbye.
れで終わりかな。とりあえず次の人。なんかね、ヒントがいっぱい出てたんだけど、ベンジャミン・パーマーは話したっけ？
I'm afraid.
話してるね、一通りね。オッケーオッ
A
ケー。
gun?
次誰だ？いやー、大変だわさ。で、不明のイベントが発生しているということなんで、ここですね。もう隠れがあった気がするんだが、だってこれ、ドロシー・クレインの救護所。で、殴る。そしてしこたま殴る。でドロシーがね結構厄介な敵っぽいから上にいるんだけど、この間瞬殺されたんだよね。今回もその恐れがあるんだけど、よいしょ。あそこにアイテムがあるぞ。で銃をちょっと装備しておきましょう。前回近づきすぎて毒でやられた感じがしたので、あれね、これでどうだ。お、いけそうだな。で、殴るで下がるでリロードして、これだ。あの毒斬りさえ食らわなければなんとかなる。よしよし、ドロシーさよならだ。なんとやばい。危なかった。この最後っぺがきついね。うわー、えげつないやられ方しとるな。進化のために休息を取る。休息取りたいのは山々なんだけどね。
I cannot enter.
もう鍵がかかってるけど、おそらくここも隠れ場所になるはず。とりあえずこれで謎イベントはクリアしたんで、何まだいんの？銃だともったいないのでね。あ、間違えた、撃っちゃった。これリロードをさ、打ち切らなきゃできないっていうのはちょっと難点だね。もう一度手の内を見た以上はある程度対策はねつけれるからね。じゃあストーンブリッジ墓地に向かいましょう。でここでこっち側から回っていきますかね。一回結局あそこに戻んなきゃいけないの、病院の方に。よし、バレット・ルイスお前だ。
You never...
秘密はない。
Goodbye for now.
これで OK。 こいつだ。
You.
よし。
Why do you keep on working for the gang, Joe? You know it doesn't suit you.
It's true, I hate this job. And I know I made some bad choices, but I'm a wet boot boy now. And people won't forget it.
You could leave tomorrow. Start another life in another town.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. We are poor. My son's weak. And there's no way he'll endure another disappointment.
Goodbye.
で、あと数人ね、聞き込みをしてから向かいましょう。
Good evening.
Change.
よし、こいつは大丈夫。
Good evening.
It's far.
Why did you send Samuel to the cemetery, Tobias? What did you see there?
I sent him on a vision. A dream of a dreadful and laughing queen covered with blood, sleeping with the dead and feeding on the fear of the dying.
A laughing queen dressed in blood. Tell me more.
This epidemic is her feast, the announcement of her return. Against her, science is no more than a child's toy.
But who is she?
She is the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth. She is Babylon, drunk on the blood of the saints.
Tobias Whitaker, confess why you burned those people alive.
I have done what no one was ready to do. I will smite the flesh of the unclean to protect the righteous.
狂ってんなこいつ。
You're not the savior of London. You're just a glorified sadist.
I take no pleasure in this awful cleansing, Dr. Reed. I am only driven by the thousands of innocents I save each night.
You are just another heartless murderer, exploiting the epidemic to kill with impunity.
No! No. The only way to contain the spread is to strike at the source itself. The proliferating sick.
源が何か分かってる口ぶりだね。
You sent a man to die because of a stupid vision. I have heard enough of your nonsense. Goodbye.
よし、これで話は終わりだ。で、あと一人。だ、クレイトン・ダービー。こいつだ。
Good evening, Doc.
あ、ヒントない。あれダメだね。
Goodbye, Mr.
あ、そうだ。これだ。
Good evening.
Have you any...
It appears the dispensary is now a major source of contagion.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby.
これで聞き終わりましたと。で、次の、作業が、ここには、これ何も表示されてないんだけど、上がることができるってのは、でも何もないね。よし、とりあえず戻ろう。うわー、ファストトラベルが欲しい。まっすぐ。こっちで合ってるよね。よし。こっからだ。ホワイトチャペルに戻ってきたので、あ、まだだ、こっちだ。ここね。あれ？新しいダイアログがあります。ちょっと、なんか、勝手に進行しちゃってるぞ。さっき倒したやつ、本当はもっと後なのかな？どうなんだろう。出てきたらとりあえず叩きに行ってるんだけど、よし。スワンジーのおっさんに会いに行くぜ。これ楽だね。で、ここで、まずは強化。経験値が2000もあるので、何を覚えようか。ブラッドバリア。いや、なんか微妙だな。ミスク。弾薬の数が増えますはいいな。でもまだいいか。 これ結構ね、重要な気がするんだよね。で、こっちも上げとこう。900もかかるのか。で、ダメージをね、シャドウミストのレベルも上げときましょう。あ、2000いんのか。これは辛い。0時。これなんか強そうだな。ブラッドコールドローン。どれがいいんだろう。アルティメット。これにしとこうか。で、さらに、ここをレベル上げとこう。OK、これでいいかな。実行。あ、なんか病気かかったやつがいるな。まだ無理かな。まだ無理だね。じゃあ行きましょうかね。スワンジーのおっちゃんに。ダイアログが増えたってのが表示されてたけど。
I need to talk to you, Edgar.
Please do so.
So you manage a hospital financed by a vampire?
Yes, Pembroke was founded by Lady Ashbury. She's also our largest donor.
If I may inquire, how did you meet her?
Well, Jonathan, she sought me out and offered me the position. It's been a very profitable partnership for both parties.
A convenient yet expensive way to have a fresh supply of blood on hand, day and night, don't you think?
All vampires drink blood by nature. Me, I praise the lady's exemplary moral fiber.
なるほど。ヴァンパイアに非常に理解のある。
Nurse Crane will not be returning to Pembroke Hospital.
Oh, really? Did something happen? She seems such a very capable woman.
She was blackmailing Lady Ashbury. Thought she was murdering
くるくる
patients
こさ
for
んこん
some
ばん
sick
は。
upper
初
class
見。
game.
だらだらと、
Nurse Crane was
ゲームを
playing
し
a
てるだけなんで
dangerous
すが、
game.
よ
She's
かった
lucky
ら見て
Lady
やってく
Ashbury
だ
abhors
さい。
violence.
Do you know anything about the vampire hunters in the East
はい、
End?
千秋さんいってらっしゃい。
Without a doubt, it's the guard of Prewen. Zealots to the last man.
Where do they come from?
ダメだ、読んじゃうな、どうしても
Once
これ
they。shared the Brotherhood's ideology on non-intervention. But they concluded vampires were a scourge.
They're definitely well organized and equipped.
They're extremely dangerous and not to be trifled with. To them, you're a feral beast, and I, your accomplice.
We'll talk later.
これだけか、伝えることは。他にもあ
I
る
need
だろ
to
。Please do.
う。ないな。
We'll...
これでじゃあダイアログ終わり？出てないね。OK。じゃあ、下に降りて。 よかったらね、チャンネル登録とかしてやってくださいな。よし。とりあえずこっちから部屋から出ちゃった方がね、早いから。さあ、これで心置きなく。ここら辺にもね、隠れがこっちサイドにもありそうな気はするんだけど、今はとりあえずそれは置いとくかい。で見て回りつつ、目視できそうだったら入れないんだよね。意外に入れそうで。ブラックボールフォーバーグ。あ、デッドアウト、キープアウトって書いてあるね。ってことはどこら辺かから入れるはずなんだが、あ、ここかな。いや、ここじゃねえよな。あれ、ここ来たっけ？来てないよな。ここから向こうに渡れるっていうだけか。ならばまだ早い。びっくりした！驚かせるんじゃねえ。まず一人。はいで。まずあいつからやってしまわないと。やっぱ吸う力が強くなるといいね。戦いやすくなるね、随分と。この噛む能力を先に鍛えた方がなんかスムーズに戦闘は進む気がする。必殺技とかほとんど使わないしね。よく分かってないし。アルティメット、ブラッドコールドロン。自分がね、何を装備してるかいまいち把握してないんだよね。まあいいでしょう。で、気になってるんだけど、ここになんかこういう文字があるとなんか入れそうな気がするんだが、意外にそうでもない。いけないね。隠れがありそうなもんだけどな。まあ良いか。で、ここから下に、下に降りたらもしかしたらあるかもしれないね。でもとりあえず今はメインクエストの方に、後ろから忍び寄って、バレてる！振り返るなよ。で、アルティメット使ってみよう。ほら。なるほどね。硬直するんだ、相手が。1対1だと使いやすいけど、1対他だと結構硬直がこっちも長いからやられちゃう気がするな。さて、いろいろ手に入れつつ、いるね。よいしょ。で、吸ってブラッドを回復。いや、この流れ最高だよね。うん。ダメだ。よし。これで OK で、こっちにも何かあるな、これ。キープアウト。で、強い。いやー、これ強くなったな、随分。 飛べそうなところがどこかにないかなと。ないね。まあ、いっか。先へ進もう。
My dear sister, I don't know if I have the strength.
葬儀に参加するのが先なんだけど、俺は先にあの女性と話すぞ。よし。いて。やばい、結構強くなってるぞ俺。だいぶね、戦い方に慣れてきたな。ここにあの人がいるはずなんだよね。
Are you all right, Miss Shun?
My name is Xiao Shun. This is the proper way to address someone in my country.
I do
中国系の人かな。
apologize, Xiao Shun. Are you all right?
Yes, I am. This is the only place where I can find some kind of serenity. Some way to remember my dear Matthew.
Tell me how your husband died, Xiao Shun.
Matthew died of the Spanish flu, like so many others. It's a mundane cause of death these days, but for me it meant the end of the world.
At this time, there is so little medical science can do to defeat this terrible epidemic. I'm truly sorry.
The worst thing is not his death, even if it tears me apart. The worst is not to have seen it coming, to have lost him so quickly, even before realizing it.
Did he hide his condition from you?
Matthew was a smiling type, a happy sort. Everything that I am not. Did he laugh at his death to come, or did he not realize what was going to happen? I'll never know.
The Spanish flu may be the worst disease mankind has ever faced. Why are you blaming yourself?
You don't understand. I didn't know he was so sick. I didn't realize the gravity of his situation until it was too late.
As harsh as this sounds, we are all equally vulnerable to this awful disease. It can take the strongest man in just a couple of days.
I never said goodbye to Matthew. We never realized how bad it was. We laughed about it even. He always made me laugh. Now I don't have enough
マシ
tears
はいい
to
人だ
shed.
ったんだね。
Are you on your own? Do you have any friends or family who you could be with?
I have family and friends, but I need to be here alone. One day maybe I'll go back to them, but not now. I need silence, and I need sadness.
I've seen many deaths in my life, and we all grieve in our own way. Some stay silent, or need to shout. Others need company, and some just can't stand it.
Thank you for your sincere words, Dr. Reed. I sense you trying to help me, even if I don't quite understand why.
まあ理由はね、特にないからな。
Are you a doctor yourself? Is this why you feel so
ミキさんいってらっ
guilty
し
for
ゃ
not
い。
saving your sick husband?
No, I am not. But I still need to blame someone for Matthew's death.
謝る必要ないんだよ。
Who else, if not
そんな
his
すみません
wife,
と
who
か
did。not see it coming.
I'm a physician, one of the best in the country. But I was unable to save my own sister, Mary. She died in my arms.
Why tell me this? Is it supposed to make me feel better?
No. But I wanted you to know that you have done nothing wrong. Unlike me.
May I ask
Ay,
what
mata ne.
caused the death of your sister?
You could say she was also killed by a terrible disease. A disease I have sworn to fight and cure, no matter how long it takes.
Thank you for sharing that with me, Dr. Reed. Maybe it's time we start to rebuild our lives, you and I.
You should go home now.
I think you're right. Cemeteries are for the dead, for they need silence too. Thank you for your honesty and your wisdom, Dr. Reed.
これでミッション完了かな。
Take care on the way home.
Maybe I'll see you again in Whitechapel. Goodbye for now.
You realize you can't stay here forever, don't you? Eventually you'll have to leave the cemetery.
Why? Why should I go? Since this is the only place I can find peace of mind.
You're right. I believe silence has a curative effect for the pain we feel. I
これ
suppose
順番間違
it
えた
provides
な。
space for
こっちを先
You
に聞くべ
sound
きだっ
like
たね。
you're no stranger to the pain I feel.
Let's just say, I too have a good reason to visit cemeteries at night.
Please accept my condolences for your loss then, Dr. Reed.
で、
Have you recent news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
I heard that she used to help the refugees, but unfortunately you
翻訳お
don't
かしい
see
ね
her。
聞いたよ
around
っ
anymore.
て。不思議な。で、これで終わりですね。悲しみの貧乏人
The world has gone
完了。で、これで、見てください。ここのクエストが一通り完了したということですね。でね、ヒントがどうしても得られなくなってしまったやつも、また OK、Google が反応してしまう。よし、大丈夫。取れなくなっちゃうのつらいな。キャドガン・ベイツ。こいつもまだなんだよね。でも一応ここのクエストは一通り終わったと。ここもそうですね。市民クエスト意外に数がそんなないから、やっぱボリューム的にはちょっと物足りない感じになるかもしれないな。まだわかんないけどね。
I must find a discreet spot to attend the ceremony.
こっそり参列できる場所探してやろうじゃねえの。
I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. We commend unto thy hands of mercy, most merciful Father, the soul of our sister departed, and we commit her body to the ground. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Why kill my Mary and stick her here in this cold, god-awful place?
These are the legal requirements for the epidemic, madam.
Oh, Avery, I feel so tired. Please take me home.
Yes, madam.
Oh, Mary. What have I done? If I could only change one thing. One thing. This is a nightmare.
Jonathan, there is nothing you can do but accept it.
What brings you here?
I thought you could use the company. I am so sorry for your loss, Jonathan.
She was a good person. vibrant, full of life. She was kindness incarnate, my Mary.
You're a good person, Jonathan. And a young Ekon. A newborn cast into the night without so much as a candle to guide your way.
She had been scouring the most dangerous parts of London in search of me. And it led to her death.
Jonathan, don't.
I still hear her last thoughts. They echo in my head. Her mind shattered, and it haunts me.
Jonathan, stop. Listen carefully. You
確かに
must
この
come
音
to
楽
terms
ね
with this.
ゲームの
You
音楽いい
must
よ
learn
ね
to live with what happened.
ブラッドボーンもね音楽良かったんだよね
How can I? I've destroyed my family. My poor mother. I can't even console her.
Don't you see? You're doing the work of our enemies, feeding your remorse. We are weakest when we grieve, and the guilt blurs our senses.
And so this is why you're here. To warn me. You've felt this pain yourself. You too have endured this.
I don't want to lose you, Jonathan. I've lost so many friends. Loved ones I cherished. Pray for Mary's forgiveness, if you must.
You may be right.
Of course. I've stared upon this world for centuries. And time has taught me to deal with guilt, if not erase it.
What should I do then?
St. Mary's Church is not far from here. Go there and make your peace. Find the solace you need.
My lady wants me to confess.
No, Jonathan. It's you who wants to confess, I think.
St. Mary 教会に行けと
It's locked, all right.
鍵がかかってるからもう開けられないのかなよしとりあえずこっちから行きましょうセントメアリー教会は行ったことあるなここも鍵を開けてあるのでショートカットできますねここは飛び越えられないのかよし
And off to church he goes, a newborn seeking divine consent to lick the blood from the soft and pointy crown.
Who are you? Make yourself known.
Newborn, you reek.
誰じゃないだろう誰だろう
Pointless compassion. Shed your
洗い流
skin.
せ
Forget
過
your
去の
old
脆弱
weaker
な自分を
What
忘
do
れ
you
ろ
want from me?
おこいつもヴァンパイア
Ascalon does not
ア
approve
ス
of
カロンは我々の牧
super
場によって
unwanted
の
eyes
注
to
目
our
をもたらす
pastures.
So your name is Ascalon.
Ascalon's will is vampire law. Learn them.
圧倒的に強そうだな
Or I shall return as your judge and jury.
アスカロンあいつはアスカロン
Immortals try my patience with their plans and unsolicited counsel.
めっちゃ強そうやな
Over there! There's one of them! He's dead! Snap it, leech!
登れるとはいはいまた Google が反応しやがったよし どう考えても敵でしょ、もうあれは。もう色が敵だもん。圧倒的敵感。さあ、教会に来ましたぞ。あ、メアリー。メアリーだっけか？
Hello again.
カメリアだ。
Tell me, Camellia, how are things now the dispensary is closed?
もうこの人ね、どうしようもないんだよね。話してくんないからさ。
Very well. Good evening, Mr. Nethercott.
And good evening to you too.
この人は詩人ですね。
Have you recent news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
Not at all, sir.
I'll lead.
さあ、教会に行きますか。素直に。おや、引っかかってるな。こっちだったようだ。よし、教会到着。あれ、私生活無理じゃないの？服着てるけど。
Yes? What is it that you want?
I'm sorry to disturb you at such a late hour.
No worries, my son. I'm still quite awake, having just returned from a funeral.
Yes, I know. I've forgotten what I wanted. I don't know.
かぐのさん、こんばんは。
May I help you, child? You seem somewhat perturbed.
I haven't the strength to cross the threshold. I wish to pray, to cleanse my soul.
The church is shut by order of the bishop. But I'm still the vicar of St. Mary's, if that is any use to you, my son.
You seem to me a good soul, Vicar. But this is a personal matter.
There are no secrets from God, my son. If your heart needs comfort, consider me your chapel. For I can be as silent as stone.
I've words for one departed. They're not for living ears to hear.
Your eyes burn with rage, yet I see the pain that lies beyond. I am here to lighten the burden of all God's creatures. Whatever you tell me is between us and the Lord.
Very well, priest, as you seem quite adamant.
Open your heart, my son. Tell me what burdens you. With whom do you wish to speak?
She was my sister.
You seem so troubled by the loss of this girl. What happened to her?
She was murdered.
I see. And how are you feeling, my son?
I feel responsible. The pain is consuming me.
I have a final question for you, my son. This is of the utmost importance.
Ask your question, Vicar.
What words would you like to say to your poor sister?
I'm so sorry, Mary. I promise to find who is responsible for all this. I'll put an end to this horror.
You have been heard, my son, and your burden will lighten if your words are sincere. Go in peace now, and live your life in the way she would have wanted.
重いなあ。そしてこんなところでロードが若干入るっていう。
There. I confessed to that vicar. Do I feel better?
で、次は病院でエドガースワンジに会う。
I cannot enter.
この回かかってんのな。
Good evening.
Goodbye,
この鍵開けときたいんだけど、開けれるのかな。無理そうだね。とりあえず帰りましょうかね。こっちか。
Not a safe place right now, sir. Over there! There's one of them vermin! There's one of them. That leech is fast! Anyone shall prevail!
やらせるかよ。ああ、燃えるやつや。危なかった。すごい倒れ方してるなこの人。すごい音がするけど何の音だ。とりあえず見なかったことにしておく。熱っ。あー、痛い痛い、やめやめやめやめやめ。よし。この野郎好き勝手殴りやがって。お前も。よし。あ、やば、気力がない。よし。こういうね、敵とちゃんと戦っていかないと、レベルがね、上がらないので。こっちで合ってるよね。よし。
Remorse and pain are precious when binding you to the earth. You, I remember you.
真相。外なるヴァンパイア。すごい見た目なんだけど。
Fear be gone. I would harm no child of my making.
This is your doing. You made me this creature. What are you?
I am the land. You are our champion.
You selected me, chose me.
As shall my children yet to come.
What is it you seek?
This age is sickly. An ancient poison, an older rage, brewed in a cauldron newly forged.
This has something to do with the epidemic.
Seek truth, my champion. Defeat the serpent of knowing with iron spur. I've had enough of others making decisions for me, pretending to know how I should feel or behave.
So the vampire who made me is some sort of disembodied entity? Or was he just projecting this vision in my mind? Maybe Edgar can help me with this one.
どうなっていくんでしょうか。ちょっとね、今後ろでガタガタガタっと落としてますが、仕事の資料をプリントアウトするのを忘れてて、今やろうと試みております。確かにセント君だったな。角生えとったしな。ちょっとね、ここで、1時間半ぐらいプレイしたので、5分ぐらい休憩取りたいと思います。皆さんもね、やることやって、寝る準備して、しっかり休憩してください。それではまた後ほど。 はい、ただいま戻りました。というわけで続けていきたいと思います。エドガー・スワンジーに会う。さて。
God protect us. You've got a leech in the hospital.
Yes, my hospital. My mission is to heal while you go about warring.
はい、ただいまです。
You've set the table for a snake. I wonder why there's venom in your food.
I'm growing tired of your song. You're a woodsman, McCallum, not a doctor. Return to your hunt.
Remember, I've a good nose for machinations. I can flare the scent at a mile. You can't hide from the god.
え、こいつ敵ガード
Leave him, Jonathan. This is sacred ground. Neutral territory.
めっちゃガンくれるやん。
And I just had the carpet cleaned. By the sacred stole, this is very bad news. Bad news indeed.
What happened?
The hospital has been attacked. We have injured patients, at least one dead and several missing. This has spiraled out of control. Even the most infirm are asking to be allowed to return home.
We cannot have the people lose faith in this institution. This hospital is their only hope.
Of course, you're right. But we cannot afford a public scandal. It would ruin us. We must restore order, and quickly.
You mentioned a dead patient. Who is he?
She, Jonathan. She was Miss Harriet Jones. I found her room like a slaughterhouse. Blood everywhere. The duty nurse is taking care of the mess.
Very well. I'll help you.
I know this place means something to you. I have noticed how you suppress your appetite when around the staff and patients.
You need to know you can trust me, Edgar.
I do, dear fellow, I do.
Please then, tell me.
Sean Hampton, the man we thought we'd saved at the docks. It seems he was infected after all.
So Hampton became more beast than man.
Exactly. And now Guard of Prewen suspects the hospital of vampire activity. Do you realize what that could mean for us?
Rest assured, I will protect you, and your staff.
McCallum is a fanatic. The Guard will stop at nothing. You don't know what they're capable of, Jonathan.
Very well. Since I brought Mr. Hampton here, I will put an end to this.
ジョン・ハンプトンの蛮行を終わらせる。
Sean Hampton lives and breathes for the well-being of his flock. There's no other place he would go but the docks.
But the suffering continues.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more. I want to make things change.
But you're doing something important here. For all the patients who need your help.
We save lives, sure. Each time we send a cured patient home, it's a relief beyond words. But since the epidemic, I feel so powerless.
What steps are you prepared to take to feel more useful?
I don't know yet. My sister believes that the real fight is in the streets nowadays. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is what I must do.
And what about Milton Hooks? Does he share your point of view?
For Milton, any change means more comfort and more peace. I disagree.
If you feel that saving lives is not useful enough, perhaps it means that you've lost faith.
On the contrary, My faith has never been stronger. Maybe we are all just too proud to face up to the fact that science cannot compete with God.
Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital, Pippa. Are you his accomplice?
Yes, I am.
Is this your definition of being useful? By abusing the sick and poor?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead, or will be soon. Don't you see the futility of all this?
How can you be affected by the misery around you, and be so heartless at the same time? Which is the real you, Nurse Hawkins?
I could ask you the same question, Dr. Reed. Are you more real when you lie to a dying patient, or when you grant him useless medication?
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it together, and I'm guilty as charged.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first, even though Milton would say it was his, to protect me.
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
Everybody's afraid. Death has always been a frequent visitor. But murder? How can we cope with that?
As a nurse at this hospital, it is your duty to deal with these things as best you can.
Yeah. Until it's my turn to have blood spread all over the walls. I entered the room first, Dr. Reed. I've seen what that monster did to the woman.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening.
I need blood.
この人はもう、あ、また話すことあったな。
Good evening. I'll leave you, Mistress.
あ、間違えた。ボタンが決定ボタンが×なんだよね。
Is there anything you can tell me about the recent commotion here?
Many things can happen under cover of night, Dr. Reed. But I took no part in this massacre.
But did you see or hear anything?
I can't say I did. But the smell of fresh blood almost made me faint, Doctor.
I'll leave you.
I wish I could be sick again. Feel my blood boil with the fever.
Good evening.
Evening, Doc.
Can you tell me anything about recent events at the hospital?
Before the shouts and the noises, I think I heard whispers coming from the stairs.
赤ビルさんいってらっしゃい。またね。
Maybe more.
Did you recognize the voices? What did they say?
I couldn't hear. Sounded like they were arguing or something.
Goodbye.
Disgust on every street corner.
What on earth happened here?
「なんかうわ大変だなこれ」全員に聞き込みした方がいいのかなローディングが結構時間かかってるな。
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
What can you tell me about the recent events in the hospital?
That Mr. Hampton killed Miss Jones in her room, then ran away.
And did you see all this?
No. I was working by the tents when it all happened. I only entered the room when they asked me to clean up the blood.
Where is Miss Jones's body?
I don't know. I'd imagine the morgue. It all happened so quickly.
Did you see Sean Hampton leave the hospital?
I think I saw a silhouette exiting the hospital gates after the shouting started. At first I thought it was someone who was just scared, but... well, maybe it was him?
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
怖がってた。さっき話したよね、この人はね。
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you tell me anything about the recent commotion in the hospital?
I'm sure it was not your fault, Dr. Reed.
My fault? What do you mean?
Oh, nothing. It's just... I heard it was you who brought the murderer inside our walls. But you couldn't know, could you?
Goodbye.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
What do you think of Dr. Tippett's opinion of your promotion, Waverley?
Tippett is a good practitioner. Maybe just a little too attached to his prestigious position at the Pembroke Hospital.
Really? That's exactly his diagnosis of you. A little too eager to get promoted? A little bit too proud?
He has the right to think so. But I deserve this promotion. And I don't consider it anything but well-earned.
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
Nothing like this would have happened if we'd had enough staff and proper shifts.
So you don't think the blame is ours?
We all hold fast here, Dr. Reed. Our methods may differ, but we are all trying to make a difference.
Thank... Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids. We never found her body.
Please, tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital.
I heard Miss Jones call for help from her bedroom. There were some loud noises, like people fighting. All of a sudden, it went quiet. And then a nurse started screaming.
Do you know who the nurse was?
Not sure, but I think it was Nurse Hawkins.
No.
Sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
Good evening.
I've read your son's medical report, Beatrice. It's not the flu or anything life-threatening. What has you so worried?
He was at death's door when he was brought here. I just want him to be better as soon as possible.
He's not out of the woods yet, you know. He might need to stay here longer than expected.
Take care of him then, Dr. Reed. People here only seem to focus on contagious patients. I worry my poor Mortimer will be neglected.
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
It's a disgrace. How on earth can patients be attacked in their own rooms?
Goodbye.
Good evening, Doctor. How's...
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
I'm okay.
Your medical report says you're not affected by the Spanish flu. What do you think of that, Mortimer?
Does it make me happy? Not in the slightest. If it was up to me, I would have left this place long ago. I know I don't belong here.
And why do you think you don't belong here?
I know the staff have more important things to do than look after me. There's plenty of patients here who need their attention.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
困るなあ、話してくんないとなあ。
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
I heard shouting coming from the first floor. I was asleep when it started. I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
ヒントが圧倒的に足りないな。ホーキンスの話はもう聞いたので、とりあえずいいとしましょう。
Oh, Jonathan, I cannot believe my eyes. Poor woman. Butchered by some savage scowl.
Yes, and I'm afraid I'm at least partially responsible. The man, the scowl, I brought him here.
Jonathan, how could you say such a thing?
Forgive me if I feel despondent. but there seems to be no end to the suffering and death that surrounds us.
I'm always here for you, Jonathan.
What do you know of Ascalon? I was threatened by a creature, a vampire in Whitechapel, stating I had to obey the law of conduct.
What more can you tell me about him?
He was bigger than a man. Huge, in fact. He seemed to radiate violence. I thought he was going to tear me apart. Then he vanished.
Fergal, the executioner of Ascalon. You were fortunate he was not after you, but rather out doing his master's bidding.
What is Ascalon?
The Ascalon Club are the most powerful vampires in Britain and exert tremendous influence. Take my advice and stay well away.
I have experienced a certain difficulty when faced with holy symbols or trying to enter religious buildings. Have you?
Now that's quite a question. I don't know why, but yes, it has happened to me.
Is this a sign? The hand of God in action? Are we repellent unto heaven?
I don't have the answers, Jonathan. But I believe superstition and magic is just fact awaiting the lens of science.
Aren't you frightened?
Very little scares me, my dear. To be compelled to avoid symbols of faith does not concern me.
Have you embraced this woman? Like the other patient, this Mr. Renfield?
Her name was Amelia. And no, I did not kill her. I vowed a very long time ago that I would never take another life. Unless they ask.
Is there sufficient vitality in the blood of the sick and dying patients?
Yes, Jonathan. The hunger gnaws at me every waking hour. Frankly, I'm starving.
Temptation surrounds us. Rich, vital. How can you resist?
Over the years, any pleasure I once gleaned from feeding is long gone. I drink for sustenance. And though I still thirst for more, I restrain myself.
Thank you, my...
他に話すべき人はいるかなあ、これ聞けるんじゃないか。なんか今十字ボタンが出たよね。これは何なんだ。ここで聞けってことかい？あれ？ここに立たなければいけないのか？それともこの裏か？こっちか？ここか。
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
どういうことだ
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying.
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see the city is crumbling down? Today people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow we may be fighting for food.
Do you know that Nurse Hawkins is thinking of leaving the hospital?
That's not a surprise. We've talked about it already.
ふてぶてしいなこの人な。
Sometimes I think she may be right. We should run away while we can. The question is, where can we go? Where is it safe?
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reed.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
Someone killed Miss Jones in her room, and Mr. Hampton's gone missing. Doesn't take a genius to piece it together.
You don't seem shocked by any of this.
Why should I be? Whoever did this must be long gone by now. And besides, he got rid of the old bag.
よし、とりあえずこんな感じかな。一通り聞けたのではないでしょうか。あ、まだこの人が聞いてなかったかな。
Good evening, Doctor.
Dr. Reed.
Nurse Brannigan has been recently accused of neglecting her professional duties. Tell me what you really think about it.
見てていいよ。
This kind of protest is nothing but elitist
ごめんね、あんま喋んなくて。
I trust Nurse Brannigan with my life. She has what it takes to be a great doctor.
Do you really think she could be the next Elizabeth Blackwell?
Believe me, Dr. Reed, a time will come when skill and skill alone will determine who can be a physician and who cannot.
Can you tell me anything about the recent commotion in the hospital?
It's a tragedy, pure and simple. The hospital is meant to be a safe haven to all. We failed the people who trusted us with their care.
Do you think I should not have brought Mr. Hampton back here?
It's not your fault. You rescued that poor soul. It was the Christian thing to do. But we should have noticed his instability.
Goodbye.
よし、これで一通り聞けました。というわけで、彼を探しに行かねばいけないんだが、いよいよ港へ出発ですな。この人もさっきね、知り合ったばっかだから話しとこう。
Hey, Doc.
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
All I know is I ain't letting anyone rip my throat out in my sleep. I found myself a nice play, Doc. I'm ready. Hey!
I'll leave you.
よし、これで OK です。さあ、次の標的にロックオン。たまに入るこのロードがね、不穏になるんだよね。大丈夫か？
Hello again, Mr. Thatcher. Do you feel any better now?
Yes. This neighborhood may stink of dog shit and reek of piss, but to me it smells like the purest mountain air.
Do you want to talk about why you have this fear of being enclosed, Mr. Thatcher?
No, I really don't.
An irrational fear like yours is usually rooted in a specific event. Perhaps it would help to talk about it.
Well, Doctor, take a guess then, if you're so interested in my case.
Perhaps you were trapped or locked in somewhere as a child. The horror of war could have brought this memory back to the surface.
Are you joking? I grew up on a farm. I had a bloody fantastic childhood.
ああ、マジか。そんな、やってもた。
Mr. Thatcher,
ヒント取れなくなっちゃったよ。
Since I came back from the war, I spent most of my time and energy just trying to forget.
I understand what you mean. I was a soldier too.
No. Nobody can truly understand what I've gone through.
Why were you locked in that sewer? What happened?
I went by the canal after an argument with a friend. Got chased by these fucking wankers and had to barricade myself in, despite my claustrophobia.
Tell me about your claustrophobia. Has anyone given you an official diagnosis?
ああ、やり直したいけどこれできないんだよな。
I don't want to go to a hospital to get checked again. I'll deal with it my own way.
ねえ、辛いよねこれ。
Why did you run? What was the reason for your argument?
Newton wanted me to go to a hospital. I can't stand being closed in. Makes me feel like I'm suffocating.
いやー、人生のようだな。
Why did you not go to the Pembroke Hospital to seek medical help?
I don't trust doctors. All they care about was their careers and processes. I won't be locked in any room again by anyone.
Your fear of being trapped is not going to go away by itself. You need professional help.
I've seen enough butchers in white coats to last a lifetime. Hospitals reek of chemicals and death. What I need is fresh air.
もうヒントは手に入らないのですね。
Try to take care of yourself.
いや、辛いな。そしてもう一人どこ行った？あれ消えたな。さっき二人いたよね。あ、ニュートンブライトこいつか。
Hello again, Mr.
I'm eternally grateful, Doc.
What caused your phobia of rats, Newton?
It happened last year following an artillery attack. I was trapped for 2 days in a hole under 2 dead soldiers. And there were rats.
Go on.
It started eating me as soon as I dozed. Gnawing at my ears, my fingers, lips. I couldn't move. Couldn't call for help.
I see.
No, you don't. You have no idea what it is to wake up buried under bodies. Fucking vermin eating your flesh. Oswald. He found me and saved me.
Why do you stay here now that Mr. Thatcher's back?
It's complicated. Since the war, Oswald's been really nervous with the idea of entering any hospital. And me, I've got my own issues.
Can you speak about them?
Rats, sir.
いや、うかつな選択できないな、これ。
Just wanna run. It's that fear that stopped me from going after Oswald when he left.
What can you tell me about the war, Mr. Blight? If you want to speak about it, of course.
War was... Well, you know, sir. The stench of death everywhere. Your mates lying bleeding in the mud. Just praying to make it through and get home. Bloody nightmare.
Did you know Oswald Thatcher before the war?
No. We met in the battlefield. I think we're in the same boat to France. We've stuck together ever since.
I fought in France, too. I served as a field surgeon, but it was not uncommon to repel an assault, especially at night.
Yeah. The first time I was wounded, I had to protect the infirmary from hostiles. Twice.
You are always welcome at the Pembroke Hospital. As a former officer, I'll be honored to welcome a fellow veteran.
I'm not giving up on bringing Oswald back to the hospital. I just need to convince him that he needs some help.
Perhaps he needs to reach that decision by himself.
Could you speak to him? He doesn't usually listen to doctors, but perhaps because you've been through it.
失敗したんだよ。失敗しちまったんだよ、俺は。
Goodbye, Mr.
だっ ってもう話してくんないもんね、多分ね。
Goodbye. Good evening, Doc.
ねえ、そうだよね。
Do you want to talk?
No.
An irrational fear.
Well, Doctor, take a guess.
Perhaps you.
Are you joking?
やっぱダメだよね。選択肢が持てなくなっちゃってるもんね。わかった。そっとしておこう。そう、どうしようもないものはどうしようもないんだよ。ここは戦ったから、行く前に、多分ね、ここら辺にも隠れ家がありそうな気がするんですよ。お、レベルが上がってんな、敵の。よし。スカルがいっぱいいるな。でもね、ここら辺に絶対にね、俺隠れ家あると思うんですよ。配置的にね。じゃないとしんどくないかいこれ。ちょっとだけ探索にお付き合いください。よし。どこかにキープアウトって書いてるところがあるはず。ここだ。見つけたぞ。あれ？
It's locked.
鍵がかかってる。やらせるかよ。くらえ。よし。だんだんね、使い方が分かってきましたよ。
It seems the Priwen are redoubling their patrols in the district. I must be more careful.
倍にしたところで私の敵ではないわ。ここから先降りたんだっけ？鍵がかかってる。まだ開けられないだけなのか、それとも別の入り口から行かなければいけないのか。その判断が難しいところだね。よし、ならばとりあえず敵を倒しつつ、おっと、だって君たちが襲ってくるから。この瞬間移動を使いこなせると結構楽ちんですね。どこに入り口あるんだろう。あとアイテム発見で、こうやってね寄り道ばっかしてるから進まないんだよね。いや、ここにキーパードがあったからもうちょっとだけ。今こっち向いてるからこっちだとどうだ？何かないか。ここには、ここ入れそう。入れないのか？ なんか今気づかれた。おいて見て。そう、寄り道も大事なんだよね、この手のゲームはね。特に洋ゲー。よし。でも結構ね、戦闘は上手になってきたよ、我ながら。入れない。ここじゃないだろうしな。どこだろう。え、ああ、いた。違うな。そうなんですよ。結構前回の戦闘で慣れた感じがするね。ここか？こっちからはどうだ？あ、ダメか。やはり鍵が開けられない？もしや。どっか破壊して入るわけでもなさそうだしな。まだ解除されてないってだけなのか。だとしたら今探す意味がないもんね。 OK、 港に向かいましょう。現在ここにいるから、こっちサイドから。特に何もない。開けられるね。ライブハウスの港。カバーレター。やあ、フランク、調子はどうだい？先週君に会えたのはよかった。次は俺のおごりで酒でも飲もう。君がいるところは無事だといいんだが、君が昔住んでいたとこ、ここはひどくなる一方だ。クレイは一日ごとに暴力的になっているし、勢力を広げることしか考えてない。この辺に入ってきた新入りみたいなやつにさえ縄張り争いをふっかける始末だ。ウェットブートボーイズはダメなんじゃないかと思ってる。それでこの間会った時、君がギャングを辞めたことを後悔してないって言ったことについて考えたんだ。後悔といえば、揉め事やらに巻き込まれそうだからイーストエンドに足を踏み入れられないことぐらいだって言ってたよな。もしこの辺を通るって決めたら、俺が守ってやるから心配はいらない。それから新たなチャンスと仕事の口について話ができるだろうか。俺が数字に強いのは知ってるだろう。だから君の会社に経理が必要ならと思ってね。話をしないかダメかい？奥さんによろしく伝えてくれ。人生にウェットブートボーイズを兄弟。ブース・ディグビー。こういうとこにね、ある資料大事よ。この先には何か。
that strange gang.
Good evening, sir.
Who the fuck are you? Don't you see I'm busy here?
Dr. Jonathan Reed, that's who I am. And who are you?
Ah, some fancy gentleman we've got here. Clear off. We don't want strangers on our streets.
So you won't tell me your name, then?
The name is Booth Digby. Maybe I'll ask my boys to break one or two of your bones, just so you remember it.
Are you some kind of vigilante patrolling these streets at night?
Something like that, but the police aren't in charge here. We are, see?
So you're a concerned criminal, is that it?
Using funny jokes about me and my boys, are you? Fuck. You must have some balls.
I saw many men like you during the war, Mr. Digby. Greedy little cockroaches who feed on despair.
I could kill you for saying that. But, nah. You've been a soldier. I can respect that.
So, tell me about your gang, then.
What? Have you got a death wish? You really want me to answer that?
Well, yes. You seem so proud of your status. Why not tell me who you're working for?
Oi! I'm the boss, all right? The Wet Boot Boys work for me. All of them. Situation round here is better than other districts because of us. Because of me.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
Things ain't that bad, thanks to us. We give people what they need, and we control this borough.
Well, you're not doing a very good job. People are still dying here, like everywhere else.
Yeah, well, we can't be everywhere all the time. And Edwina says if we can find more guns, we could be more efficient.
More efficient? Really? You should probably tell Edwina that guns are useless against diseases and infections.
Incredible. You know what? You're lucky she can't hear you right now. She's more smart than patient. My sweet queen of the docks.
なるほど。
I know you're looking for an honest job, Booth. You're tired of this criminal life, aren't you?
It's just an idea. Edwina loves to run things so much. You can never really leave the gang. Wet boys for life, you know.
Do you know where I can find Sean Hampton? I need to talk to him.
The sad saint. Why on earth do you want to talk to him?
He was one of my patients at the Pembroke Hospital.
Oh, yeah. I heard the poor bastard had been abducted by some cunt. You better ask Tom Watts. He knows Sean Hampton well.
トム・ワッツを探せばいいのか。
Goodbye.
意外にそこまで悪いやつじゃなさそうなんだけど、悪いやつっていうか強そうなやつではなさそうなんだが。さあこれでここの界隈は見たから、次は逆サイド。よし。こっち側だね。ポプラ・フォーバーグ。さあ何がある？敵はいなさそう。だから問題は入れるところがどこにあるんだって話だよね。よし。やばいててて。お、避けるとは。さて隠れ家はどこだ。こ この鍵はもう開いてんのかな。よいしょ。これでここはつながったと。この逆サイドしか開けられないってのは厄介だね。こっちに行くと、こっち戻って、あ、これが絶対あるでしょう。ここだ。ここか？いや、黒光りしてるだけか。わからん。ないと思う。よし。先に行くか。ここは開いた。2人。まずアクトスカルから処理しましょうかね。まあ余裕ですわな。戦闘慣れてきたら随分簡単に思えてきたぞ。こうやって油断してたらやられちゃうんだけど、今湧いてきたね。スカールを倒して老人を助ける。え、どこにいんの？あ、いたいたいた。いけそうでいけないんだよな、こういうところってな。あそこの扉じゃ開けられるってことか。スカルを倒して老人を助けてあげましょう。ああ、やっぱな、そうなるよね。そうなんだよな。一丁前にパリをしやがるな。さあ、来たぞ。
Are you all right, sir? What are you doing in a place like this?
I'm not sure that's any of your business.
I hope you realize that staying here will put your life at great risk.
Pah! I'm not afraid of these guards of Priwen. or whatever these thugs call themselves. I can still kick some respect into those youngsters.
I wasn't specifically referring to them, but are you really after these men? Why?
They took my boy! I've had no news since he joined that crazy gang. So I decided to come and find him myself, to get some answers.
I see. But as I said, your life is at risk if you stay here. And I'm not referring to the gangs either. You should leave, sir.
Well, this part of town used to be nicer, let's say. Perhaps you're right. This isn't the best way to save Andrew.
ミッションに成功。ここら辺にあいつがいるってことか。ここだよね、目標地点はね。血のついた手紙。母さんへ、俺に何が起きてもあなたの息子があなたを愛しているってことは忘れないでいてほしい。俺の生き方にいつでも賛成ってわけじゃなかったことは分かってる。だけど俺は変えるつもりはない。この町で生まれ育ったのに近所の人たちや知り合いに起こっていることに対して我慢できないんだ。俺は最近ひどい決断をしてしまった。俺は少数支配の独裁政治に反撃すると決めた。奴らが復讐するのは分かってる。だけど何がやってこようと覚悟はできてる。母さんのおかげで、俺はいつも本を読むのが好きだった。行動を起こそうとしている今、俺にはエディエンヌ・ドゥラ・ボエ氏を引用することぐらいしかできない。彼らの背が高く見えるのは我々がひざまずいているからに過ぎない。俺はもうひざまずきたくないんだ。母さん、どんな代償を払っても俺は堂々と立ってるつもりだ。さようなら大好きな母さんじゃ。
There is a name engraved under the blood on the back of the case. Jack Gillingham. Maybe I should return this watch to his family.
返してあげよう。家族のもとへね。ってことはだ、もうすでに死んでるからここじゃないってことか。とりあえずじいさんと話してみようか。
Are you young man?
ダメだね。
Are you sure you young man?
目的地はね、あ、80メートル先。おや？
This is Braille. I need someone who can read this.
盲目の治療法。また新しいミッションが出やがったな。ていうかこれ Y のところがどうやったらいけるんだい？あ、なるほど。こっちから回っていけということかな。こういうことだ。サザークブリッジ。なんかいろんなところに来ちゃってるな。あ、これ最初逃げてきたところか。まだここは行くか。誰だ？
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Why must it always be a good evening?
I was just being polite. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you some questions, if I may.
Don't like questions. Or doctors. And the name is Seymour Fishburne, if you must know.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
A shithole filled with maggots. Liars and thieves, all of them.
Are you thinking about someone in particular?
No. Hate them all. Especially these petty, whining little shitbag beggars.
Is there no one who deserves your leniency, then?
Well, Tom from our local is somewhat of a decent bloke. At least, unlike most maggots, he knows how to listen without opening his trap.
What's your occupation?
I take care of my mum. It's what I do. She's the only good thing in my life. Even though I don't treat her so good.
You seem upset. Is something bothering you?
I lost the necklace I bought her. I'm a fucking idiot. A worthless idiot.
Sometimes it's hard to be a good son.
I just want her to smile. No, I was thankful for her patience, appreciated like... God knows she deserves it.
Any chance you can help me find Sean Hampton?
The sad saint. Why would you talk to that cunt?
Actually, that's confidential.
Really? Well, go ask someone else then. I'm sure Tom Watts will gladly answer you.
Tom Watts.
Goodbye, Mr. Fish.
ここに隠れ家がございますね。ってことは、後々解除されるってことかな、隠れ家。エドウィナ・コックス。先にちょっと話しておくか。
Good evening, miss. I am Dr. Reed. May I ask you a few questions?
Who are you? What do you want?
As I just told you, I'm a doctor. From the Pembroke Hospital, actually.
The Pembroke Hospital, you say? I ain't paying any bill left by Clay.
I'm not here to collect payment, Miss
Edwina Cox. So what do you want then?
この人がエドウィナか。
Something from me, maybe.
What can you tell me about your work?
I'm a businesswoman. I buy and sell things, and I send my wet boot boys after anyone who don't play nice with me.
Gang member and shopkeeper. Can't be easy running double shifts.
If you're interested, I may find use of a doctor who can freely walk across the city, you know.
You're quite blunt, aren't you?
I like people who know what they want and say what they think. This is a time of great opportunity for those ready to embrace their destiny.
わかる。俺も覚えられてない。
I'm not interested in a career in the criminal underworld, Miss Cox.
Fair enough. Stay away from us then, if you don't want to get hurt or worse.
Since my return from the war, I don't feel that concerned by threats, knives, or even bullets, if you must know.
That's exactly what that stupid trade unionist claimed after he attacked one of us. Booth and I reminded him a bullet beats words every time.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
You can't trust anyone around here. As soon as you lower your guard, you can be sure some arsehole will take advantage of you.
Really? Don't you think that's a little bit excessive?
Bastards, all of them. This region only responds to violence and threats.
You sound like you're thinking of somebody in particular.
Take the gravediggers of Southwark. They must pay me every week, but it looks like they forgot who gave them permission to steal from the dead.
Looting corpses in a mass grave. That is a new low.
Whatever. Hey, since you're a doctor and all, maybe you can access that forbidden area and remind those bastards what they owe.
また新たなクエストが。
Booth Digby looks at you with love-struck eyes. Tell me, Edwina, is the feeling mutual?
You have no idea how refreshing it can be for
清
a
志郎さん
woman
こ
to
んばん
receive
は。
all the pleasure she needs. For once.
I'll take your word for it.
What is it, Doctor? A woman's not supposed to talk about these things.
Behind all your crude words and your attitude, I sense romance and a soft heart, Miss Cox.
Romance? I have no time for such rubbish. I use Booth like I use everyone else.
Tell me about the
ヒント
man
獲得
you
失
and
敗
Booth killed, Edwina.
The bastard killed
ま
one
た
of us and received retribution. There's nothing else to say.
これ悔しいな。
What happened exactly?
I don't know and I don't care. One of ours was killed by that communist bastard, but he didn't brag for long.
So you have no idea what really happened, but you executed him anyway.
No one messes with the wet boot boys, Doctor. This is our territory and this is our law.
いや、俺言葉のセンスないな。
You kill without hesitation.
Violence is an efficient tool, Dr. Reed, when used properly.
So you decide who lives and who dies, just like that.
Yes, Doctor. Just like that.
I'm not saying it's fair. I'm saying it's my way of dealing with troublemakers.
I'm looking for Mr. Sean Hampton. Do you know where I could find him?
The sad saint? I heard he was mugged or something.
Yes, he was. But he left hospital recently.
You don't say. Well, I suppose it's good news for the homeless and the useless. Ask them, they must know something.
Can I see what you have to...
As long as you have money.
これ購入しとこうかね。あ、武器売ってんだ。あ、これ売るか。いや、これむずいわ。俺言葉のセンスマジない。泣けるわ。
Not a drop of blood left in his body. This is the work of a vampire.
Good evening, sir. Have you witnessed any suspicious activity or strange events recently?
And what do you define as a strange event? More to the point, who are you?
My name is Ichabod Throgmorton, vampire hunter extraordinaire and warden of the East.
Vampire hunter だそうだ。
Vampire hunter. Really?
I know what you're thinking. I'm just another lunatic howling at the moon, but I'm not. The bloodsuckers exist, and they're close.
Mr. Throgmorton, I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'd like to hear more about these vampires you're hunting.
A man of science? Well, I'll be glad to enlighten you.
スログモートンって名前さ、シンキングシティにも出てきたよね。
What can you tell me about this neighborhood?
Did you hear about what happened to Jack Gillingham? Oh boy. It's a shame I wasn't around to protect him.
It's impossible to protect everyone. The violence seems endemic in this part of town.
But it's my duty. I am convinced Jack Gillingham was killed by a vampire. These evil rodents are spreading like a plague.
So, how exactly are you protecting these people? I'm curious.
I patrol late at night, investigating anything unusual. I try and encourage people to stay indoors, but people are careless.
How do you identify a vampire?
It's simple, really. They can't stand daylight. They're afraid of garlic and holy symbols. They also cannot enter a house without being invited.
Have you ever killed one of these creatures? Yourself, I mean.
Of course I have. What kind of question is that? It's a dirty business, believe me.
たまたま運がいいだけじゃないかな。
Actually, yes.
襲われないのはね。
I plan to put up posters to alert the population to the vampire threat.
Are you asking me to paste posters about vampires around the docks?
If you wouldn't mind. If you did that, then I can focus on my patrols.
まさかまた新しいミッションか？出た。
Have you heard of the Guard of Priwen?
Of course. They're dedicated hunters. A little militant for my taste.
イギリスだと一般的なのかな。
Do let anyone join.
Were you ever tempted to join the Guard yourself?
I did think about it, but I'm more of a silent hunter. They're more of a sanitary militia.
So you hunt alone? That sounds risky.
Vampires are just like every other predator. They hunt when they're hungry and follow certain patterns. It's just a matter of observation and patience.
I'm looking for Sean Hampton. Can you help me, Mr. Throgmorton?
The sad saint? He should be at his night asylum at this hour. But I cannot tell you how to find it, sorry.
Really? Why is that?
It's nothing personal, Doctor. I'm sure your intentions are good, but people who sleep there, they have plenty of reasons to hide.
Maybe at least you can tell me who could help me find him.
Tell you what, go and chat with Tom Watts. He's a bartender and good judge of character. If he talks to you, then it's fine by me.
I could make you tell me, but I respect your refusal.
これ手順が意外に多いね。
Sean is a saint, don't you?
All I will say is this. Gossip has it that when he was a child, he was molested. By a priest of all people. Funny thing is, though, it only strengthened his faith.
Goodbye.
これで、とりあえず。うわ、まだ3人もいるよ。ヒント取得失敗しとるし。とりあえず話しますかね。これ最初話したね。
I'm much more myself than when we first met.
飛ばしちゃったごめんなさい。
By the way, I'm Jonathan, Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Welcome back to the Turquoise Turtle then, Doctor. I'm Sabrina Cavendish. How can I help you?
What can you tell me about this area?
People don't appreciate that line of questioning round here. You'd best be more careful with what you say, sir.
You look concerned, Miss Cavendish.
This is a bad borough. Most people I know are afraid. Most locals will rob you blind, or worse. You best mind your step.
If you're uncertain about your safety here, the docks might not be the right place for you.
I've got responsibilities. And it's not like I've got the money to move anywhere else anyway.
This place seems, how shall I put it, very colourful. I'm sure it has plenty of stories to tell.
We get people of all sorts here. It's that rare place in the docks where you can have a drink without being murdered. At least it's not happened yet.
So this bar is neutral territory then?
Yeah. Tom's convinced this is something the locals need. No one ever.
ストリートの名前なんだ。
That's one of the reasons I accepted the job.
Your boss must be quite the negotiator to force such an agreement.
Yeah. Tom's a great bloke. Mr. Hampton, who runs the night asylum, he's the only other man that's able to keep peace around here.
Excuse my curiosity, but where exactly are you from, Miss Cavendish?
Something bothering you? What, my name? Or my complexion?
Believe me, I never judge someone on their place of birth or the color of their skin.
If that's true, you'd be one of the few not to make fun of me. Just you, Tom, Dyson, Miss Fishburne, and of course Mr. Hampton.
I'm sorry if I worried you. I was just curious to find out if you know this part of town well.
Nosy. My dad was a sailor from Bombay, and my mum was a maid born up in Glasgow. They got married in London. And here I am.
なるほどな。
Sabrina, tell me about your true feelings for your boss.
I love Tom. Not ashamed of it. Don't care if the customers joke about it neither.
Who's mocking you?
I mean, we're always together. People will talk, won't they?
Does Tom love you?
Yeah, but he's always reluctant to take it further. It's not because I'm younger, or because of the colour of my skin. He hates jokes about us.
周りにとやかく言われるのが嫌なんだな。
You better ask Tom, sir.
Why not answer me directly?
We respect the privacy of our customers here, sir. Only Tom can decide who to speak to and what he'll say to them.
Goodbye, Miss.
There's gotta be something can be done to get out.
Good evening, sir.
Whatever.
Don't you recognize me? We met a few nights ago.
Don't take it personally. I spent a lot of energy forgetting what I did the night before.
Yes, you had definitely drunk too much then as well. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Dyson Delaney. I'll try to remember you. This time.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Delaney?
めちゃくちゃ酔っ払ってんねこの人。
I drink in the morning and at noon. I drink at night. And then I drink some more.
Why do you drink so much?
Maybe it's because I prefer dying slowly. Death can be so abrupt.
まあ確かにそうだよね。
Personally, I like to see mine coming at my own pace.
You sound very sad, sir.
That's because I am Doc.
Don't you work at all?
I'd love to, but I don't have the time. Didn't I tell you? Drink in the morning and at noon. I drink at night.
Is there anything in particular that you like about this part of town? Except for the cheap drinks, I mean.
How dare you say such a thing? I love this neighborhood. So friendly, so joyful.
No reason at all to rejoice, then? Life is hopeless and then we die, is that it?
Let me tell you a story.
All right. Go on.
A few years ago, when I believed a resolute man could change things around here for good, a tragedy occurred nearby.
What kind of tragedy?
It was a bomb.
はい、くるくるこうさん、おやすみなさい。またね。
Killed many people. Metal and blood everywhere. Shouts, fire, broken window of the shoe shop, the torn street light.
You lost people you loved that day, didn't you?
I've lost everything. But you know what the worst part is? I don't even remember where it happened. I've drunk so much to forget it. And now I can't remember where it was. I can't pay my homage to the dead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Delaney.
It's okay. If you ever find the place, just leave a flower for me there. Even if you tell me where it is. I'm not sure I'd memorize it.
Is there anything in
また新しいミッションが。
like about this part of town? Except for the cheap drinks, I mean.
How dare you say such a thing? I love this neighborhood. So friendly, so joyful.
No reason at all to rejoice, then? Life is hopeless and then we die, is that it?
Let me tell you a story.
Another time, perhaps. Is there anything in particular?
あ、これ聞いたね。
Why are you so cynical?
Cynicism is the polite way to express despair, Doctor.
I'm looking for Mr. Sean Hampton. Do you know where I could find him?
I really don't know. I heard he'd been abducted. I don't know if he's back.
Who could tell me then?
About the sad saint. I'll try asking Tom what's about him.
Surely you must have had dreams and expectations when you were young, like everybody else.
Sure. I wanted things to change. To really change, and to change for good. The bigger the dream, the harder the fall.
Sounds like you were an idealist, which is honorable.
No, sir. I was an anarchist and I believed that exclusive property is a robbery in nature. I wanted a new world to rise from the ashes, Dr. Reed.
びっくりした。またヒントなくなったのかと思った。
Do you really think the world is that bad?
No, I believe we all can choose to make it better. But most of us are too weak, too corrupt and too guilty. I failed for sure, but others will come.
I want to know more about your past as an anarchist, Dyson.
I'm still an anarchist, Doctor, make no mistake. I just reject violence as a tool to change the world, unlike my comrades.
Do you still see your comrades, then? Even if you don't agree with their methods anymore, I mean.
No. I hope they'll come to share my point of view one day. I'll raise my glass to that splendid idea.
Do you believe in a bloodless revolution, then?
I do not believe in much anymore, Doctor. But I'll admit I like your idea of peaceful change. I like it a lot.
この酔っ払いめ。よし、
Goodbye.
聞くべきことはないな。あとはトムに聞けば OK ね。
Good evening, Tom.
Good evening, sir. How are you tonight? Back to the docks, are we?
You remember me, then?
Of course I do. You're that man who seemed so lost when he entered my bar a few nights ago.
Thank you for your hospitality. I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way.
I'm still Tom Watts. Welcome back, Doctor.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
It's not that bad. Thanks to people like the sad saint of the East End.
Who?
Sean Hampton, our own private holy figure. Few are foolish enough to make peace with the gangs. Sean is one of them.
How is it you can keep this place open? This part of town doesn't seem particularly safe.
Well, since everybody needs a drink, my pub is considered neutral ground by most groups.
You're something of a figurehead around here.
I'm only pouring alcohol for everyone to forget their troubles. Sean Hampton is the one giving them long-term hope.
意外にね。
Since I'm here, is there anything I can do?
Well, perhaps, Doctor. peace partly depends on my stock of gin. With the epidemic, my supplies are running low.
How can a physician help you in this matter?
I have a small warehouse just past the quarantine line. Perhaps, with you being a doctor, you could go there and come back?
Doctors aren't immune to disease, you know. Very well. Show me where it is. I'll see what I can do.
Oh, thank you, sir. Here's the key to get in. You're about to save many dry throats.
I see. So you get pressure from all sides about how this place should be run, do you?
Well, something like that. Nothing that a few wise words and a bottle of gin can't solve.
Why does your waitress feel in danger working on the docks?
This part of town is dangerous for all, but for women it's worse, as always. Sabrina is a brave girl, but she can't help feeling in danger.
Do you think she has good reason to feel this way? Are you not worried about her safety?
Of course I am. The truth is, she's tougher than me deep inside. She just has to learn to control it.
なるほど。
Sabrina seems very fond of you, Tom.
I like her too. I really do. I know I'm her boss, and I'm much older and all. But I like her for sure.
What is bothering you then?
Sabrina is an angry one. She wears it like a coat. I'm not sure I can make her shed that anger. It hurts to see her like that.
Tom, I need to find Sean Hampton as quickly as possible. I've been told you could help me.
I heard the sad saint was recovering at Pembroke Hospital. Did he leave or something?
The important thing is I find him, quickly.
Why not try his night asylum? He takes care of those who need a meal or a roof there.
Where is it?
It's in an old warehouse, northwest of here. Just follow the bank to the west and go north when you reach the end of the pier.
I believe he returned to his flock. Can you confirm that?
Oh, I bet you're right. Sean can't help but worry about the poor and sick. Oh, I guess it has something to do with what happened to him as a baby.
Please, tell me.
Well, I don't like to gossip, but I heard that the sad saint was abandoned as a baby in front of a Catholic orphanage in Dublin. That would explain his faith and need to help everyone.
なるほどな。これで、次行くべきところが分かりましたね。でだ、その前に隠れ家だよ、隠れ家。どっちだっけ？リザ、ここだ。ここマークついてなかったよね。あれついてたっけ？レベルアップこれでできるかな、コンボの。ひひひ。いいハンドル部材がいるのか。いいはまだないな。ポイントは1425。まだ貯めよう。もうちょい貯めよう。あいつは。あ、出てきただけだ。ドゥイーナ・ブース・ディグビーとちょっと話をしましょうね。
Tell me about the man you killed, Booth. What happened?
One of us had been killed, so we had to retaliate. That's the whole story.
There has to be more to it than that.
No, really, one of us got killed, so the killer had to die. That's how things have always been done round here. No one gives a shit.
Are you so heartless that you could pull the trigger and kill someone without even blinking?
Have you looked around recently? Do you really think one more body will make a difference?
Goodbye.
まあこれぐらいかな、今聞けることは。じゃあ向かいましょう。多分ね、このクエスト終わったら、今日はそこまでって形になると思います。特に何も情け、まあ、敵はちょろっといるみたいだけど、 こっちか。ルーファス・キングスベリーの目的地ここだよね。西の港に行かなきゃいけないの？面倒。ただ行かざるを得ないでしょう。ここはまた後なんだろうな。これ海渡れるのか。そうか、分かったぞ。ワープすればいいんだな。シュンって。これをこうして、あれ？今できないのか。ここだな。おい、来た。はい、これで西の港来た。さあ、目標地点に到着しましたよ。おわいきなりですな。やってくれるわ。これはまずいぞ。血を吸ってる間はダメージ受けないかな。これで1対1の勝負だ。あれ、起き上がったぞ。やるじゃない。こいつが邪魔だな。ただこれね、ターゲット切り替えがなかなか。まず1人。あっちいぜ。太郎かーい。血吸ってファッションやらをして避けて、もう大変。これもしかして無限に湧いてくるのか、ザコキャラは。よし、じゃあこれぐらいにして、ほら動きを止めてやるぜ。くらえ。その間にタコ殴りじゃいい。弱っちいな。仕組みさえ分かってしまえばどうということはない。さあ、これで全員倒したはず。もういないよね。
The wounds on this corpse are deep, the result of rabid rage. If this is Sean's doing, he's become a murderous beast.
彼の蛮行を止めなければ。イエイイエイイエイ。よし、やっぱバトルは楽しいな。アイテムはないね、あとは。ってことはだ。かかってこいや。テクテクテクと。あれ？あ、壁の向こうか。さあ、あ、結構離れてんな。じゃあここを抜けていきましょい。他の好みさんこんばんは。いらっしゃい。よし。ここにもね、アイテムがあるんですよ、絶対に。 うわー、これはまたマップが俺的にはややこしい。矢探し矢探し。ややこしい敵だ。いて、あ、いて、この野郎。何？よし。なんかマップが複雑だな、思ったよりも。まあ、探索は後でして、時間も時間なんでね、サクッとこのミッションを終わらせた方が良い気がするの。でも探索したい病が止まらん。いや、抑えよう、頑張ろう。ここですね。
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. May I have your attention for a minute?
Good evening, sir. My name is Giselle Paxton, but I don't have time for men like you.
Have we met before?
No, but I just need to look at your fancy clothes to know that you must be desperate to visit the docks at night.
That's quite judgmental of you.
Sir, I've led enough strikes when I had a job to identify you as an enemy of the working class.
May I ask what you do for a living?
I'm killing myself scraping for a living. And you? Have you ever had to struggle in your entire life?
As I told you, I'm a doctor. You have to work a lot to earn that title.
Oh, a doctor. Born with money in a nice house, were we? Was Daddy a banker or a doctor himself?
Why such hatred? Are you judging me by my clothes and my job?
Of course I am. Fuck, you're so blind. You don't even see your privilege. Lazy people like you disgust me.
うわあ、もうこいつチースってやりたいだもん。
Tell you what, just spend a few weeks here and then ask me that question again. If you're still alive, I mean.
If you have something to say, say it. I'm getting tired of all this.
Oh, you want information instead? Well, here's some for you. Giselle Paxton does not like you at all, Doctor.
You don't know me, Miss Paxton, and yet you see me as an enemy.
Your manners, your clothes, your words tell me everything about you, sir. I know your kind, and you don't belong here.
You're right. I have never suffered from poverty. But that doesn't mean I don't fight it and its consequences.
I really doubt you ever had to fight for anything in your life, Dr. Reed.
You don't know me. You're right.
I really...
If you...
Oh?
うわー、なんかイラっとくんなこの人。
You speak of strikes and class enemy. Am I right to assume you're involved in trade union activism?
You bet I am. Well, I was. Nowadays, I'm just another worker blacklisted by the big companies.
You lost your job because of your beliefs.
Those bastards really hate a worker who refuses slave wages and unsafe conditions, especially when it's a woman.
Isn't the whole point of trade unions to help workers in need? Why don't they support you?
A few nights back, I lost the money my companions had asked me to hide. With me and my sister being penniless, they thought I stole it.
What really happened?
I drank too much that night. Strange men saw me count the money in that bar. Some sort of militia in uniform. I'm sure they robbed me.
またしてもクエスト発生。
I'm looking for Sean Hampton. Can you help me?
What is it you want? Does he owe you money? Has he displeased your Royal Highness? I'm no snitch, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Well,
話にならん。この野郎。
It's locked.
頭でっかち。バーカバーカ。いやだっておかしいよね。言い方ちょっとひどいよね。腹立つわもう。
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Can I help you?
A fancy doctor lurking at night by the docks? Not fishy at all.
And what about you? Working outside at night in this dangerous part of town?
You want to know my secret? I'm trying to earn money. And I'm Lottie Paxton, by the way.
ゲームじゃなかったら喋ってないよね。
As long as I have good legs, I can run away from trouble. The sad saint now provides me and my sister a bed and a roof. I don't want to lose that.
Are you homeless, Miss Paxton?
Mr. Hampton's night asylum is our new home now. It's a safe place for me and my sister.
What can you tell me about the sad saint?
It's just the nickname of Sean Hampton, the sad saint of the East End. He gave me shelter, and he's not always sad.
What can you tell me about this place? How are things here?
It may be okay for a strong girl like me, but a dandy doctor from the city like yourself, you better watch your back, Mr. Reed.
You really think I should go back to a safer place, miss?
No. I think you had better stay and help as many people as you can. Just avoid the wet boot boys. Those bastards are worse than the epidemic.
Which local dangers must I avoid?
Well, the gangs, the thieves, the drunks, the jobless. A man with your fancy clothes will attract a lot of attention.
Well, I am not someone so easily intimidated.
Glad to hear that. And if you get into trouble, you can always seek help at Sean Hampton's shelter. No one would dare to be violent there.
いや、ショーン・ハンプトンは人を殺しとるんだが。
I'm looking for Sean Hampton. Can you help me?
Mr. Hampton must be in his office at the night asylum he manages, I suppose. Why do you want to see him?
He was a patient of mine at the Pembroke Hospital, but he left abruptly.
I see. Well, Mr. Hampton is a discreet and dedicated man. I'm sure you'll find him soon enough.
Goodbye, Miss Paxton.
この人はまだまともだね。話せるわ、まだ。ギリギリ。ギリギリだけどな。いた。よし。
Why the long face, Doctor?
It looks like we both have changed a lot. I must confess, it saddens me, Sean.
Put your faith in the Lord, Doctor. He has a plan for all of us. We may not always see it, but he does.
Since you left Pembroke, the amount of blood that has been shed, it's hard to believe you, Sean.
Ask what you will. As the Lord is my shepherd, I will not speak a lie to you.
Aren't you afraid of what you've become?
We are blessed, Doctor. Can't you see it? The Lord has made us able to walk amongst the plague and aid those that need it.
Do you think this is a blessing when God's own house and holy symbols repel you?
If that is your burden, Doctor, so be it. But I do not fear the cross, nor am I forced to take the life of another. My kind doesn't share your imperfections.
But you must drink blood now to survive.
No, not your scripture. Whoso eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. So saith the Lord. I only need to eat flesh, no blood.
もうただの化け物じゃないの?
This is my home. These people are my flock. You will always find me where I am needed.
Wonders never cease. Scal managing an asylum.
And what of you? A vampire doctor? Meals laid out before you. Yet you restrain.
And what about William Bishop? He tried to take care of you. But this hunger, this thirst, cannot be restrained.
Alas, poor William. He had a good soul, but was weak in spirit. He could not shake the thirst for booze, never mind blood. But have faith. My will is far stronger than his.
Why did you kill Miss Jones at the Pembroke Hospital?
Killed old Harriet? You must be mad, Doctor. Why would I do such a thing?
So you claim Miss Jones' death was not by your hand, nor the other incidents at Pembroke?
Though Harriet was an angry, spiteful woman, she was one of God's creatures. I have nothing but love for all he has made.
But you were close to her?
Of course. But she was lost, separated from the fold. She did not see the hand of the divine in my blessed condition.
People have been murdered. I've seen the blood. I don't believe you can be trusted.
Have a little faith, Doctor. If you will follow, I will guide you to the light.
How do you plan to do that?
Take this key of the old sewers. The entrance is by the riverbank, south from here. There you'll find all the proof you need.
Very well. You have definitely intrigued me. I hope you're right, Sean.
I'll be here when you return. If you still think I'm a threat then, well, I surrender myself to your judgment.
ショーン・ハンプトンの秘密を見つける。これは終わらせないとなんかな。気になるな。ゆっくり後で読んでくださいね、皆さんこれ。お、いや、今日配信してないね、そういえば君。頭痛がすると言っていたが大丈夫かね。もうね、このクエストが終わったら今日はね、配信が終わるつもりなんだけど、思いのほかそこにたどり着くまでが長い。大変じゃ、こりゃ。もう行ったり来たりですわ。よいしょ。ちょっとあと一息と思って。いや、気になるよね、この振りだと。何、秘密って何？俺は戦いたいんだ、戦いたいんだよ。熱いバトルをしたいんだよ。シュン。キープアウト。この先か。お、敵さんがいるじゃないか。俺を楽しませてくれ、ほら。シュン。残念だ。君じゃ私を楽しませてくれなさそうだな。出た。よし。ボコってす。入り口を見つけろだ。よし、行ってやろうじゃねえか。愚かな、あ、こいつハンターか？いいすん、よし。あ、間違えた、ボタン間違えた。よし、オッケーオッケーオッケー。 シュン。ああ、一撃か。私の敵ではなかったようだな。よし、レベル19。ああ、こいつは結構強いのでは。あ、めんどくさいやつだな。そしてスーからの、ほら、避けられたか。神の恩寵など聞かぬ。シュン。これ楽しいな。遠くから一気に。ああ、いいね、順調に。あ、そうだ、目的は下水道の入り口を探すことだった。
This could be the public house Giselle Paxton mentioned.
ミッションがアップデート？いや、あとそんなの。まずはね、メインをやろう。ちゃんとね。しっかりと。あ、これじゃない？下水の入り口。やっぱさ、この手のゲームはバトルだよね。このアクション楽しいね。このワープできるってのは。この微妙なロードの時間はやっぱね、気になっちゃうけど、PS5 でやった場合ってさ、これもアップデートされるのかな？グラフィックがなんか PS5 用みたいな感じになるんでしょ？昔のソフトを入れると。あれ違ったっけ？さあ、いよいよ。あ、そう。ファッションやらをしとかないと。もう一発。下水道を探索する。しとるがな。よし。ここは逆からしか開けられないと。
That doesn't work.
動かないんかい。さあ、どっからだ？こっちはどうだ？まず回します。
These wheels control the water level.
ん？なんかそういう仕掛けがあったの？とりあえず目につくものを回してるだけなんだが。これは地下水路。これ上には行けない。頑張って登れないのね。はいはいはい。多分最後に脱出するとかそんな感じじゃないの？これで水を止めたから地下に降りれるっていう流れかな、もしかして。どうやらそのようだ。どこに行くんだ？あっちかな？ここはワープできないんだ。これでどうだ？
That doesn't work.
動かない。ここも閉じてやる。これでこれを、よし。オッケー。まあ、この程度の謎解きはね、余裕ですな。バイオの方がはるかにむずいよね。いいよ、いい音してるよ。消えたな。 ん？これはどういうことだ？あれ、俺どっから来たこれ。あ、こっちから来たのか。あれ違うよね。おいらこっちから来たんだ。で、ここを曲がって、こっち？さらに地下へ。ではない。俺こっちから来たか。もうダメだ。どっから来たか分かんなくなっちゃった。待てよ。こっちから出る。こっち曲がる。はい、オッケー。分かったぞ。で、体力も回復してネズミも1匹ぐらいいるでしょう。
I can't believe I'm doing this.
よし、こっちですな。さあ、何がいるというのか。彼の秘密とは一体何なのか。
It's locked.
こちら側からは開かない扉。いや、まず様子見ようよ。あ、マッチョだ。
These maggots have escaped the wrath of Ascalon for too long. It is time to purge the sewers of their filth.
You again? The one they call the sewer dog.
Hold your tongue, newborn, or I'll crush you like a maggot.
You've let the beast consume you.
Finally, a touch of lucidity.
ちょっと待って、いきなりバトルなの？ちょっと早すぎやしませんかね。こんな技にやられるわけないよね。おいおいおい、あんだけ強そうなふりをしといて。痛くない、痛くない。ただのゴリラじゃないか。あいて、ああれ、こいつ意外に強くないぞ。私が強くなりすぎてしまったのか。その攻撃はな、ずいぶん前に雑魚的にやられたんだよ。そいつの方がもっと痛かったぞ。さあ、ガードシールドを貼って、やっぱね、あの時倍ぐらいの敵と戦ってるのがレベル差がね、結構ここに来て効いてますね。余裕ですな。はっはっは。3体だけか。分身は4体いた。5体、嘘。あ、まさかの。まず動きを止める。あ、間違えた、場所間違えた。あれ、いなくなったぞ。こっちか。今日ものね、後ろからとは。あ、吸いたい吸いたい。よし、今度こそ血を沸騰させて寄って殴る殴る。ただひたすら殴る。よし、
I shall crush you.
おわお、そっから来る。 おいおい、でも待て待て、そんなもんか。いや待って、これ弱いぞ。僕よりレベル4つも上のくせに。やばい、余裕すぎる。こいつ最初出てきた時すっごいフラグ立ててたからね。なんか私は四天王の一人ぐらいの感じで出てきてさ、私は四天王の中では最弱の男ってことか。マジでこんだけ？雑魚いぞ。下水を探索する。どこを探索したらいいんじゃん。どっから入ってきたんやったっけ。もうフラグがすごい。ちょっと痛い人だったね、この人ね。
At least one skull escaped Virgil's wrath.
しかもさ、ヴァンパイアでしょこれ。不死身じゃなかったっけ。見かけ倒しにも程があるぜ、おい。参ったな。血はこっちに続いてる。でも俺は敵がいるからこっちに行く。あ、血痕こっちにもあるな。敵かと思ったら血痕だった。多分ショートカット的なやつかな、向こうは。いやでも向こうは上に繋がってたよね。行ってみよう。そう、パワーアップしてね、さらなる力をもらったのだとか言ってすぐやられちゃうやつね。大丈夫、雑魚だから私は負けない。なんせこちらは死んでも復活できるからな。分身もさ、なんかやっぱ以前戦った雑魚キャラの方がはるかにダメージが2発食らったら死ぬ感じだったからね、前は。その状態で戦ってたからやっぱ慣れたね。あ、いるな。ちょっとこっち先に探索させて。ローブリジット。何もないのか、ここには。あ、これが最初来たところか。そうそう、飲み込みが早かった。
How could he have made it this far? There's blood everywhere.
もう顔がなんか怪しいもんな。
This is our domain, not yours. You've been warned.
Wait, I saved you from this creature. That must count for something.
Thank you. Now go. Go back to the streets and houses. There is no love lost between us, vampire. But thank you.
Sean Hampton sent me here. I believe he wanted me to find you. Who are you?
If you must know, they call me Old Bridget. And this shelter is where we live.
I'm Jonathan Reed. I'm a newborn Egon. I'm afraid I'm not sure what's going on.
I shall not bend a knee, young Ekon, but I sense your pain. Ask, and I will afford you my attention.
いいスカルじゃん。
Why was that creature after you?
Virgil is the blunt instrument of the Ascalon Club. His masters would see us dead or turned into slaves if they had their way.
What the hell was that thing? He wasn't an Ekon or a Scow.
They are known as Volkod, an ancient offshoot of immortals. Blood drives them, enrages them.
What of this Ascalon Club?
Vampire society's elite in the Empire. They make the rules and enforce their judgment upon us whom they see as lessers.
So was it you that Sean Hampton sent me to find?
Perhaps. The sad saint was always kind to us. He must trust you if he revealed our location.
The god of Priwan is hunting him. He is suspected of murder.
The Scars have always been hunted by humans and vampires alike. I teach them how to survive against the odds.
Sean killed a patient of mine. And that's just one of the murders he's being hunted for.
If you refer to Harriet, she is now among us and under our protection.
Harriet Jones is alive. That's it. That's the proof Sean wanted me to find. I must talk to her.
No. Harriet is not alive. But you can speak to her. I must warn you. She is fragile and may not receive you warmly.
I don't understand.
She is filled with bile and hate. Her mind is sharp as a tack, but her body is so weak. I've never seen its like before. She is resting in a room on the far right of this hideout.
Thank you. I will bear that in mind.
Oh, Bridget allowed me to wander above some years back. It was unpleasant.
そうか。スカルにはスカルの正義があるわけだからね。まあ当然だな。
Your place is not here. Your place is not here.
右側の部屋。
Your smell is enticing.
いた。まずは矢探しだ。いい今度優位性。またね、後で読んでください。もう字がちっちゃくて読めないんです。
Hello, Harriet. Do you recognize me?
Yes, you were from the Pembroke Hospital. The young doctor. So full of secrets.
I have so many questions I need to ask you, Harriet. If you would.
I love questions. As for the answers, you may not like them.
How do you feel?
I can't see. I can't move. My body's burning. I feel as if I'm dying over and over again.
Have you tried to eat or drink something?
People here tried to feed me, but I'm just not hungry. I don't have the strength.
Does the pain ever stop?
It is not pain I feel. It's like I can't stop feeling every inch of my body. But at the same time, each muscle and bone is the wrong place.
どういうことだ?
Your room, the blood. What brought you to fake your death in such a gruesome fashion?
To see if I would be mourned.
Why flee with Sean Hampton?
Oh, it's always a pleasure to see a saint fall to sin. But the coward still won't kill.
Do you take pleasure in causing so much pain and sorrow?
Nobody gave a damn about me. Not a tear shed. Poor Harriet. Always the discarded.
Why did you come here?
And why not? This is where I live now. Leave me be.
Will you respect old Bridget's wishes? Will you obey her?
Bridget is kind. She only needs to keep me fed and I'll be good.
So you desire to stay here?
Yes, I'm with my own kind. Birds of a feather, so to speak. Poor Harriet. Always alone.
I have a question of the utmost importance to ask. Will you answer?
Questions, questions, questions. The good doctor, always searching for answers.
Do you remember what you did after leaving the hospital? Did you kill anyone?
First, a question from me. You answer first.
Very well then. What do you want to know?
Are you like me? Are you also dead?
We are not dead, Harriet. Death no longer pertains to us. We are different.
I like what I am. I truly do. I relish the pain that courses through me.
I know you fled the hospital with Sean Hampton. Did you or Sean kill anyone in your flight? Anyone? Try and remember.
I will not lie. I wanted blood, and I wanted revenge, and Sean pulled me from it, brought me here instead. But the shadows heard my prayers. The shadows killed that bastard.
Who was that man? The one murdered in the street?
He used to be my landlord. I lived here for many years before falling ill. Oh, he was an awful man. Disgusting and cruel. So cruel.
Shadows? Tell me what you saw.
The shadows, they heard me and answered. Something in the deep darkness. Quick, deadly. It asked me if I wanted revenge. I answered, yes.
And these shadows, this presence, do you still hear it? Was it a vampire? Did Sean see it?
It spoke only to me, and now it is silent, but it is born of hatred. And it will kill again. And it hates you, Doctor. Oh, it hates you.
What makes you say that?
It whispered your name, Dr. Reed. It wanted to know who you were and where you went.
Questions about me? What did you say?
Nothing, Doctor. I said nothing. There was nothing it didn't already know. Oh, I'm tired now. Let me rest.
ショーンと話さなければいけません。さあ、3時間半やってまいりました。ショーンと話したらこのクエストは終わるんで、それはまた次回ということで、今日はここまでにしておきたいと思います。またね、話の続きすごく気になるんで、ぜひご視聴いただければと思います。皆さん3時間半ご視聴ありがとうございました。ゆうきさんがね、多分これから配信するかもしれないので、そちらの方もよろしくお願いしますと。またね、明日最終稽古で、今週の末から、舞台の朗読劇の本番なんで、しばらくできないかもしれないけど、またよかったら見に来てやってください。あとチャンネル登録してない人はぜひお願いします。あと、高評価お願いしますだったりとか、そうだ、ナイスパくれた人ありがとうございました。あとバレンタインのプレゼントだったりとか、差し入れ送ってくれた方ありがとうございました。まだね、朗読劇の方チケットが1枚、各日1枚、全通の人がね、キャンセルになっちゃったんで、1枚余ってるかもしれないんで、もしお時間ありましたら、ぜひいらっしゃってください。こんな時期だけど。でも、一応、気を使ってやるつもりではいるので、よろしくお願いします。それでは皆様、ご視聴ありがとうございました。またお会いしましょう。それじゃあ、またねー。